Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to CRN. We are back in action after a long week off for the Core Premier Series. Here tonight, we have the SRFs at Darlington tonight for their feature debut. It is one more race for the playoffs. After this one, you got the Daytona road course of the MX-5s. So who's going to mark their way all the way into the final five? That's right, 5 drivers will have a chance to drive for the Season 9 championship here for the Core Racing Premier Series. You get 4 of the championship 4 drivers, and then they also have a wild card driver that could take away that 5th place. But tonight we're talking about Darlington. Darlington Raceway, 1.31 mile of a track. You can see it there. It looks kind of like an egg. Track temperature is going to be 75 degrees with an air temp of 73, so it's definitely going to be a little bit cooler. Been watching these guys drive in practice, and it's going to be a bump, draft, heavy kind of track. Getting into pit lane, obviously with it being Darlington, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get into pit lane with the way that the SRFs handle, but it's definitely going to be fun here to watch. No qualifying for tonight's race, as everybody is going to get on the grid, and we're going to go ahead and bring that up for you here momentarily. So far, it looks like we have Abi Vishuvasam starting P number 1 with Dane Simpson on his outside. Tim Thompson's going to roll off P number 3 with John Crane in the 4th. Brandon Mettler's going to round out your top 5. Dave Tilford will be starting P number 6 with John Nobinger in 7th. Carl Hanwerk in 8th. Kevin Foster in 9th. And rounding out your top 10 will be Jimmy Covert. 11th will be the number 64 of Chris Hamilton. 12th will be Caleb Collins. 13th will be Mark Parkhurst. 14th, James Mullenix. 15th will be Lyle Mitchell. 16th will be Dan Phelps. And rounding out your 17-car field will be Kelly Pointer. Drivers are getting ready to get geared up for this main event here tonight. Again, it's not the last race of the playoffs. There's still one more that's going to be ending out on a road course as everybody's getting geared up. You can see all of the drivers sitting there waiting to get those cars wound up and going. While we have some time, go ahead and do a little look through these paint schemes. Is Abi Vishuvasam in that Porsche number 08. Dane Simpson in that blue, black, and pink number 96. Tim Thompson in that Renault Cannon number 05. John Crane in the Lil Lightning number 11. Dave Tilford in the number 12 Thrustmaster. Then you have Brandon Mettler in the Core Racing Joker Graphics Premier Series number 15. John Nobinger in that John Player Special number 44. Jimmy Covert in that Core Racing Joker Graphics number 14. Kevin Foster in that U.S. Army number 8. Caleb Collins in that number 72 Kellogg's SRF, as I believe everybody is going to go down through the track. Get the track map up here for everybody, as it looks like Carl Hanwerk missed the start, so he's going to start from pit lane, and that could very well be a good start for him. Barney's got the green flag in the hand. The first initial start is on the leader, or is not on the leader, it's on Barney. Barney's going to be waving it here, and we are back to racing here for 75 laps in the SRFs at Darlington. Going into turn number 1, you can see them all still single or side by side all the way in and through. Everybody kind of running over that digger cam that I have put there, as you can start to see a little bit of side draft going on from that top lane all the way down to the bottom lane. Is everybody still kind of going all the way through? A little bit of 3 wide action. Oh, we have a trouble up towards the front, and oh wow, a lot of racers involved into that one, as everybody is not going to be able to miss that. So we're going to go ahead and go back to a quick CRN replay and see exactly what happened here. See if we can find the first person. We get Mr. Caleb Collins. Get it slowed down. Go up a little bit further. Yeah, right here. They're already 3 wide The 11 comes down into the 8. That's going to cause the first one. Brandon Mettler, nowhere to go. Same with everybody else up here. You can see them all just kind of getting involved with one another. Chris Hamilton able to miss it. The front end's coming up off of it. Lyle Mitchell running straight in the back of the number 05. And that was the big one here on lap number 1 at Darlington. Oh, man, look at that. Everybody's front end just falling clean off as the number 23 was able to get around it. So a lot of drivers able to get around that first lap mayhem. Others, not so much, as everybody's going to go into pit lane and service that car. Everybody coming out of pit lane, they're going to get double filed all the way through yet again. And to see what everybody can do is, you know, that early taking that fast repair just to get that car fixed. That's going to hurt a lot of these drivers here tonight, especially the championship drivers that are still in it to win it. So now they really got to drive a little bit careful, more careful than what they were driving. It's definitely going to be something fun to watch. I want to say thank you to everybody that has liked, shared, subscribed to CRN. We love what you guys bring to the table. Checking in on all of the racers across many, many leagues. Can't wait to see where CRN ends up going through the later months. Dane Simpson going to lead the gentleman back to the green flag. He's got the go-go button. He can go whenever he pleases. And Dane going to wait all the way till they get straight, and we are going to go back to green flag. Here we go, down into turn number 1 and 2 again. Can they get clear of each other? They do. So the 64 and the 96 hooked up already. Going to try to pull away from this pack of hungry drivers already 3 wide towards the back with the 18 of Carl Handwerk. He's up there on the outside. There goes Mark Parkhurst trying to get up there. Caleb Collins goes from the middle down to the inside, as everybody's still trying to jockey for position here. And if I am anybody that was just involved in that wreck, I would be taking my time in being super careful. Jimmy Covert, though, did run the fastest lap of the race with a 38.789. Fastest by far here tonight. Everybody's start. There goes Lyle Mitchell. And that will bring out another caution. As we got a lot to debunk there. As it caught one of the leaders. That's going to be the number 96 of Dane Simpson. See what happened to Lyle Mitchell here. You can see he's starting to come down. Trying to get a little bit of side draft. He just comes down in that lane and tries to go back up, but Nowhere for that number 23 to go, or the 96, the 72, and the 18, both barely getting by, as I think that is worthy of watching it from Carl Handwerk's point of view. Just momentarily, just to see just how close it really was for Mr. Carl Handwerk, as that looked super spicy, as we had a bunch of yard sale equipment out there on the front lawn. I'm going to go ahead and look this way. You see it there. Dane Simpson almost gets into the side of Carl Handwerk, but did not do so. So Carl Handwerk and Caleb Collins narrowly missing death there, as John Obinger will inherit the lead. So this is caution number 2, 8 laps in out of 75. Still all 17 drivers in the race here tonight. As, you know, one fast repair, and after that you pretty much got to run super conservative, as I think that's what most of these drivers are wanting to do as of right now. But it is going to be John Obinger and Caleb Collins going to be your front row, with Hobby Vishwasam back up there to P number 3. James Mullenix and the number 94 is going to be P number 4. The 64 of Chris Hamilton will be P number 5. 6th will be David Tilford. 7th will be Kelly Pointer. 8th will be Tim Thompson. 9th, Kevin Foster. And rounding out your top 10 will be Carl Handwerk. 11th will be Mark Parkhurst. 12th, Dane Simpson. 13th is going to be Jimmy Covert, 1 lap down. Brandon Mettler in a 14th. Lyle Mitchell in a 15th. And 16th will be Dan Phelps. And running out your 17-car field will be John Crane. Looking at it now, so John Obinger elects to take the inside. Pace lights are off on the pace car. Going to go through turn number 1 and 2. And then we're going to get back to the loud pedals and get these gentlemen up and going. John Obinger with the loud button can go whenever he pleases, as a pace car is in pit lane. He's going to wait till they are completely straight into the Geico restart zone. He's going to go without a cause. He's going to leave Abhi Vishwasam in the dust there, as everybody's going to start fanning out. Looks like Abhi's got a little bit of damage to that SRF. And John Obinger with a little bit of a lead on the field. Towards the back, though, they're going 3 wide. Almost kind of dropped it back down to 2 wide, as Carl Handwerk all the way down to the inside. Going to try to make all the passes he can. Still going to be 3 wide. Going to back out of that 3 wide situation with Dave Tilford. And it looks like the 94 James Mullenix has moved Carl Handwerk up there to P number 7. Carl Handwerk trying to win his way into the final 5. Kelly Pointer trying to make a move on Abhi Vishwasam. He does get the pass done, but Abhi Vishwasam not going to let him go so easy as Caleb Collins and Chris Hamilton hooked up here. And here comes the 8 of Kevin Hollywood Foster down to the inside. Where did that run come from Hollywood? As he's going to be side by side with Kelly Pointer now. 4P number 4. Kevin Foster says, I don't need your draft. I'm going for the lead. He's going to be able to clear Caleb Collins going into turn number 1. Going to slide up in front. And now Kevin Foster from the back all the way up to the front. Up 8 position from where he has started. He is now leading this thing going down the backstretch. Kevin Foster probably wants to get that one lap led, give the lead back to whoever wants it, and he's going to sit back there and enjoy the ride. As now watch, Kevin Foster does get that lap led. Kevin's going to stick it down to the inside. Caleb's going to go around on the outside. You got 3 on the outside, 3 down on the inside, but Kevin Foster giving Caleb Collins a run for his money down on that inside. Doesn't want to give it up so easy. And there he goes. He's going to drop down low, give those spots up, and come back up in the pack. As now he's going to get passed by the number 85, or the 05, excuse me, of Tim Thompson. Carl Handwerk looking for the race lead here. And he's going to be able to do a lead that lap for Mr. Carl Handwerk as he has made his way up here to the front. Going to slide up in front of Kelly Pointer. Kelly Pointer going to be right up on that back bumper of Carl Handwerk. But it's going to be Caleb Collins and the number 72 going to be able to rocket and propel himself around on that outside with John Nobinger and the 05 of Tim Thompson in tow. Caleb Collins doing what he needs to do, trying to get there and get some more laps led here in the Core Premier Series. Going to go down and block the run from Carl Handwerk. So give the race lead back to Caleb Collins. And look at the shove he's getting from Mr. Carl Handwerk. Here comes Kelly Pointer down to the inside, 3 wide for the race lead. That could be dangerous, but everybody is able to make it out. Give Kelly Pointer the race lead here on lap number 16. Now everybody's starting to fan out as we have a caution. We're going to go ahead and pull up a CRN replay and to see what happened to the number 96 of Dane Simpson. Dane Simpson all over the back, but just caught Abhi Vishwasam in the wrong place. He's going to slide up, hit the wall. Gets tagged again and can't drive that car back to pit lane. He's going to end up towing, and that's a tough break for the number 96 of Dane Simpson. So everybody electing to come down into pit lane, refuel, get some new tires underneath of them, and re-rack them and restack them here on CRN. I want to say thank you to everybody who has liked, shared, subscribed to CRN. As we have a week full of shows to put on here for CRN, whether it's with Red Line Racing, National Sim Racing Retro Cup Series, UCRL, Core Premier Series, ARCA and Trucks for the Core Racing League. CRN has a week full of broadcasts for everybody out there tuning in, no matter the day of the week. As Nobinger was able to get in and out of pit lane first, as Nobinger did not pit. As Collins, Covert, Phelps, Crane all in a pit lane this time by. And Brandon Metler. So it is going to be John Nobinger with the race lead. David Tilford is going to be P number 2 with Kelly Porter running at your top 3. So everybody going to go back down at pit lane just to top off on some fuel. See if they just can't make it, as I was not able to get any practice laps in, wasn't able to talk to anybody, so I'm not exactly sure how many laps these drivers could get on a tank of fuel. But I have a feeling it's not very much, as you know, Core Racing does half on the fuel, so definitely going to be something to watch here tonight. So John Nobinger, Dave Tilford will lead these gentlemen back to the green flag. Barney has the flag in his hand, raising it up as high as he possibly can. John Nobinger, Dave Tilford, your front row. And we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. As John Nobinger going to lead these gentlemen back to the green flag, and we're back underway at Darlington. As it looked like the 23 had to catch back up to the pack there. Not sure what was going on with the number 23, but look at the number 11 dropping all the way down the line. And here comes James Mullinex with the outside run, but nowhere to go with it. Here comes Chris Hamilton down to the inside, as he's going to let all of these drivers go on by. Doesn't want to be mixed up in that catastrophe there. So Chris Hamilton, move him on back towards the back. Here comes Brandon Metler. Possibly going to make it 3 wide with Jimmy Covert. No. But here comes Kelly Poiter, try to get on that outside of John Nobinger. John Nobinger goes down to the inside. Jimmy Covert going to be able to take P number 2. James Mullinex going down and getting out of the way. Oh, he's actually in the pit lane. So James Mullinex getting out of the way of these drivers. Here comes Brandon Metler down to the inside. He wants to get a lap led here tonight at Darlington. these drivers doing what they can at Darlington. I'm going to go ahead and ride on board with the number 75. Give you a perspective of what he is seeing going all the way through this track. Actually there we go, get a little bit better there. As now you get to see what it looks like, how big the draft is to catch somebody. As Kelly Pointer doing what he can to keep it up on the top side. Is there you see him, Carl Handwork down to the inside, making that inside work, and there goes Brandon Metler. One of that lap led, dropped back, and there's the big run from the 75. Going to back it down, doesn't want to give Dave Tilford a big shot, just wants to be right up on his back bumper to help him chug along. And Jimmy Covert will now lead a lap here at Darlington. Do we see Jimmy pull down and get around? And no, there goes Kevin Hollywood Foster. Oh, Foster is one lap down. Never mind. Whew. I thought Foster was on the lead lap because he came out of nowhere. But while these drivers are going, we're going to go ahead and turn the mics down, turn the car engines up, and give you guys a little bit of "You Love to Hear It." And we are back here on a CRN as everybody is pretty much single file towards the back. You got the top 6 double file through the pack here. You got a top lane, you have a bottom lane, and it's going to be controlled by Jimmy Jimmy Covert is on the lead lap now. So it's still going to be John Nobinger and Dave Tilford, P1 and P2, with Carl Handwerk and Chris Hamilton, P3 and P4. Looks like the number 11 of John Crane trying to make his way around to get his lap back here. Couple laps down, but still not out of it as they're going to be 3 wide. Not sure if I want to be Carl Handwerk in this situation. If they get together, he's got nowhere to go. Same with Chris Hamilton, as they're still going to be 3 wide. How does this play out? Looks like Chris Hamilton going to back off just a little bit. Now it's going to be 3 wide with Dave Tilford, John Nobinger, and John Crane. So you got Little John and Big John, and John Crane not able to get around John Nobinger. So keep him 2 laps down. Or 5 laps down, excuse me. Still a side-by-side, Covert and Foster leading this group. Not on the lead lap, but here comes Crane yet again. Can he make it work this time? Gets around the race leader. Going to probably duck up in front of John Nobinger and move him 4 laps down now, as he was able to get around their race leader here. As we have 2 separate packs. We have Mark Parkhurst back here along with Abhi Vishwasam. Looks like Mark may be under power. And then up here, Caleb Collins sitting at P number 5, just waiting to pounce. And we've seen how good the run is off the corner. Going to see what he can do to get around them all. Chris Hamilton still on the outside of Carl Handwerk, going to be able to get clear of him. Does Carl Handwerk go up and follow Chris Hamilton? Thought about it, but going to keep it down on the inside, as there's really nowhere to go through this pack. Looking at the turn 3 entry to 3 and 4. See them all kind of keeping up off of that apron, as they are slowly going to make their way back up to the number 94 of James Molinix. Nice little drone cam up here as Carl Handwerk gets a great launch into turn number 1. Going to be side by side now with Chris Hamilton, as it's going to be 3 of the lap cars in front of the race leaders. Now all they need is a caution that does not involve them, and they will be good to go. Lap number 45 starting here tonight, as these drivers are giving it their all, trying to get a race win here tonight. Jimmy Covert, John Crane down on the inside, but look at that, Dave Tilford. He's going to be able to control the lead, as he had Kevin Foster in front of him, pulling the number 12 and pulling Chris Hamilton along with them. So he's going to propel himself out to the race lead here, as Carl Handwerk kind of went down low, thought maybe the 8 was going to get into the wall. Wanted to take avoidtive action if necessary. As we see there, Dave Tilford might be able to get low on the field. No, he was not able to get around Jimmy Covert there. I think that might be huge, keeping lap traffic between you and second place. So Dave Tilford going to fall back just a little bit. Not going to be side. Now he's going to be side by side with John Nobinger. John Nobinger is going to re-inherit the race lead. Chris Hamilton goes down to the inside behind Carl Handwerk. They're going to back up ever so slightly to get a bigger run and to see what they can do and get around the 44 and the 12. .44 right now is sitting nice and pretty, top 3. Just hanging in there, doesn't want to make a move too aggressive as the 11 almost gets into the side of the 8. That could have spelled a disaster for the front pack there. But everybody able to keep it straight. Don't hit the 14 off center, as he's going to be locked to that back bumper of Jimmy Covert. You can see him, he's trying to keep that car as straight as he possibly can. Going to get up off of the back bumper there, going into the corner. Doesn't want to make a treacherous move here, as John Nobinger is going to lose the lead, and everybody's going to be in the Darlington Congo line, all on that inside. Looking to take lap number 50. We're back to double file. The 8 and 12 going to pull each other. Dave Tilford to the race lead, but still not able to get clear of the number 14. The 14 is going to slide up in front of the 12. That might be able to help pull the 12 around the number 11 to get him back down. But here comes John Nobinger. He's going to go back down to the inside and give Nobinger possibly the lead coming off turn number 4. Looking at it now, Dave Tilford still with the race lead, not able to get down to the inside. Now he's clear of John Crane, and there goes John Nobinger all the way down the track. John Nobinger going into pit lane of this time by, so there is green flag pit stops going to take place here tonight, as John Nobinger is going to be the only one to duck down into pit lane. Dave Tilford up there all by himself. You got 3 lapped down cars in front of him. Kevin Foster almost gets on the wall. Gets right up next to it. Able to pull it right back down. Dave Tilford still with your race lead. Going to be side by side with John Crane. A little bit of side draft. And Dave Tilford looking for another win as the 8 of Kevin Foster got a little bit loose coming out of turn number 2. Now Carl Hedberg looking down to the inside, wants to get that race lead back and control this field. Crane going to run the 12 up the track just a little bit. That's going to hinder the run of the number 12, so move the 18 back up to the race lead. And now first, second, third, fourth, and fifth all in a straight line. You see them there with Carl Hanneberg leading this pack. Now, when do these top 5 go in to take more fuel? And do you take tires, or is it just fuel? And I think right now with those 3 lapped cars sitting in front of the field, it's kind of helping out Carl Hanneberg because he's able to save a little bit of fuel, stay in the draft, and to see what he can do with these drivers. "56 laps out of 75 complete." As we are all moving on here. Carl Hanneberg still with the race lead. David Tilford right on his back bumper along with Chris Hamilton. And here comes Kelly Porter trying to make that outside lane work. Back there deeper in the pack. Not going to be able to get the run around Tim Thompson. Caleb Collins sitting P number 4. Just kind of riding, taking his time. Here comes the 64, possibly looking to make a run on the number 12. Isn't going to get it done this time. Dave Tilford still going to hold on to P number 2. As it sits right now, it's pretty much anybody's race. As anybody can get the race win here tonight. So far, so good. Longest green flag run that they have had so far. Jimmy Covert, Kevin Foster hoping for a caution, but not going to be able to get one just yet as Crane almost gets into the back bumper of Jimmy Covert, and they keep it straight. And now Mark Parkhurst has joined the conversation here, and there goes Kevin Foster down to the inside. He's going to take that number 8 machine into pit lane. So Kevin Foster going to be the next one to dive down there. Now Carl Hanneberg has 2 lapped cars in front of him. Going to use these 2 for the draft, as we're going to look fine of the number 11, and we're going to look at the gearbox. And to show you what he's seeing right behind him is these cars don't have windshields or anything like that. They don't have anything protected them. So car goes upside down. All they got is that bare knuckle road cage. Nothing else. As we are coming up to 15 laps to go here in the Core Premier Series. Carl Hanneberg in control of the race, holding off Dave Tilford, Chris Hamilton, Caleb Collins, Brandon Mettler, Tim Thompson, P number 6 with Kelly Porter 7th, and your 8-car field right here is going to be Mark Parkhurst, Jimmy Covert, and John Crane right in front of did we have a problem for drivers getting into pit lane? We did. We're going to have to go back and watch the CRN replay, see what happened. No caution came out. Jimmy Covert getting that car loaded down. Oh, he just spun it. Oh, did he miss? He missed pit lane. Mark Parkhurst did the same thing. Oh, no. No caution, as that's going to hurt both of those drivers. And now it's when does Carl Handwerk pit? John Crane gets out of the way for the race leaders. And I think he's getting ready to run out of fuel as Carl Handwerk now has clean air in front of him. Carl Handwerk, Dave Tilford. I think Dave Tilford's going to go down into pit lane this time by. Yes, he is. He's going to take it all the way down to the inside. As we're going to watch Dave Tilford make sure he doesn't loop it going into pit lane like Jimmy Covert. And Dave Tilford into pit lane nice and easily, as that's going to give Chris Hamilton P number 2. Along with Tim Thompson going into pit lane with Dave Tilford. So he's going to have a little bit of draft from these drivers. And then now it comes down to when does Carl, Chris, Caleb, Brandon Mettler, and Kelly Pointer go down pit lane? Kelly Pointer down at a pit lane this time by. 10 laps to go here for the Core Premier Series here at Darlington. You know, they're all talking about strategy. When do they want to go in? I think they might be waiting on a caution, and there goes Chris Hamilton down to the inside. He wants to get a lap lead. Move Chris Hamilton up to the front. No, he's going to go down pit lane. Oh, no! Him and Caleb Collins both. No. Caleb Collins loops it. But Chris Hamilton able to keep it going. And, oh, you hate to see it. Championship implications for the number 72. And then now it's, when do they want to pit? They see everybody else having troubles. And then now there goes Brandon Mettler down into pit lane. Carl Handwerk going to do the same. Going to be nice and ginger. As I believe that's going to give, I think Carl Handwerk still will be the race leader by the time he comes out. We're going to keep it on board with the number 18 and see what he does pit strategy wise. Maybe he's just going to take fuel only and get back out there, or does he take tires? So fuel only for Carl Handwerk. He's going to make his way out of the pit lane. And right behind him is going to be the number 12 and the 64 of Chris Hamilton. And if nothing happens, I believe Carl Handwerk could, in fact, win the race. Maybe. Still getting up through the gears. And there's Dave Tilford with Brandon Mettler. And here comes Dave Tilford, trying to get all the draft he can get on Carl Handwerk as everybody is starting to get spread out. Kelly Pointer has the 05 right behind him, as they're going to be drafting partners here, but it's going to be Dave Tilford closing in that gap down under a second in a closing. The 15 and the 64 going to start working together here to catch the two leaders. But Carl Handwerk now has a mirror full of nothing but Dave Tilford. Can Dave Tilford get around Carl Handwerk with 6 laps to go? Right now, Dave Tilford using that draft with Carl Handwerk. Do I see a last lap pass from that number 12? Or is he going to just stay behind a Carl Handwerk and finish P number 2? Going to give him a push all the way through the quarter. He is locked on that back bumper. The first time we've seen anybody lock bumpers here. Let's go on board with the number 12, and there it is. You can see it. They're both locked together. It's Dave Tilford trying to keep the 15 and the 64 behind him. The 12 getting off center just a little bit. Got to get back out of it. Get back on that throttle, or get back on that back bumper. As now we have another 4-car breakaway here coming to the checkered flag. And there they go. The 15 and the 64 down to the inside. 64 and 15 to new race leaders. As Carl Handwerk going to stick it up high. Dave Tilford not going to be able to get a run. As they're going to be 3 wide. And here comes the 18 back down to the inside. It's going to be a drag race to see who wins the race here tonight. Dave Tilford not going to be on the back bumper. Oh, Brandon Miller gets a little bit loose. As Carl Handwerk's got to make that SRF just a little bit wide to keep them to all 3 of these drivers behind him. But now they're going to be 3 wide. Carl Handwerk just backs out of it. Goes back up behind Chris Hamilton. He's going to have the draft. But if I am Carl Handwerk, I would not want to be the leader. You never want to be the leader. Oh, he got a little bit of net code there between the 64 and the 18. You seen the front end bounce up in the air. Oh, he's got a lot of damage on that front. As he's going to be battling a tight car now. 2 laps to go here at Darlington. Brandon Mettler, he's going to be left out to dry now. He's going to duck up behind Carl Handwerk. Carl Handwerk going to shoot the gap down to the inside. He's going to be the new race leader. Move Carl Handwerk back up to the point. Carl Handwerk, 1 lap to go. Can he hold off the late charge from all these drivers? What he wants to do is keep the 12 and the 64 side by side. 12 not going to be able to get up there. He's going to go high. Chris Hamilton had to back out of it. Here comes Brandon Miller down to the inside. 3 wide for the race lead. He's going to get tight. He's not going to be able to get there. Down the backstretch for the final time. Dave Tilford down to the inside. Where does Carl Handwerk go? He's going to be the race leader. He's going to try to make that car as wide as he can. He's going to go with Dave Tilford. Going to leave Chris Hamilton to the rear. And it's going to be Chris Hamilton in P number 3, but it's going to be a drag race down to the line. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Carl Handwerk is going to get the race win here tonight. And there it is. Carl Handwerk. We're going to have to go back and get a better shot of this, as we're going to go with the zoomed in camera here. Just see how close it really was. As no, that's not going to work. Let's go drone camera. Yeah, there we go. Coming down the line, Carl Handwerk throwing the block. Chris Hamilton getting into the wall. And here it is. By 0.039 of a second, your race winner is going to be Carl Handwerk, getting the race win here tonight. Going to go ahead and bring up the final results of tonight's race. And it's going to be Carl Hanneberg, Dave Tilford, Chris Hamilton rounding out your top 3. Brandon Metler in 4th. John Nobinger rounding out your top 5. Tim Thompson in 6th. Kelly Pointer in 7th. Caleb Collins in 8th. Avi Vishwasam in 9th. And rounding out your top 10 will be Mark Parkhurst. 11th will be Jimmy Cover. 12th, Dan Phelps. 13th, Kevin Foster. 14th, James Mullinex. 15th is going to be John Crane. 16th is going to be Dane Simpson. And rounding out your 17-car field will be Lyle Mitchell. The race started off a little bit tragic, but nonetheless, we were able to get the race in under laps here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and rewind it lap by lap here and get our top 3 in the broadcast booth for their interviews. Let's slow it on down. Get a good look at that number 64. There he is. Moving on to our third place finisher. That's going to be the number 64 of Chris Hamilton. Chris, is Dylan in the booth? Do you got a copy?
I gotcha.
All right, Chris, you were towards the front, towards the back. You dodged a whole bunch of melee in the early beginning of the race. Kind of walk me through what your strategy was here tonight to kind of put you in that spot where you got that P3 here tonight.
Go fast, turn left, and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, you're not very fond of the tracks that require the draft. It seemed that's what tonight was, especially at Darlington in the SRFs. Draft was key, but was the race-winning maneuver by just taking fuel there, was that the right call, or how bad were the tires going away during the race?
I didn't even take tires at that pit stop. I think I was on the same set the whole race.
Oh, so tires didn't really mean a big difference here tonight, so.
No, it was all fuel mileage. So when I know I had enough to the end, I came in, made a little mistake, but gathered it back up, so that way, and then I got to hand it to Brandon. Had him and I not teamed up late in the race, we weren't catching him. But there was a weird thing going on where, like, if you pump draft too hard, you would get a 4X. So by the reason why I was at 12X's coming across the line. One more slam draft, and I would have been DQ'd.
Yeah, we don't need that. It's definitely hard to do, especially, these cars actually bump draft very well. You would think with the way that the nose is pointed downwards and the back end's kind of up, you would try to get up underneath the next car in front of you, but it didn't happen. You're able to pretty much bump draft all the way around the track. But nonetheless, you finished P3 here tonight. You're done with ovals for now. Now you're going to go to your domain, and that's going to be Daytona Road in the MX-5s next week. How confident are you going into next week's race?
Considering that I'm like the quote-unquote Miata guy, I've been very looking forward to it. It was my idea, so if the race sucks, you can absolutely blame me.
I won't. No criticism here because I don't like road courses. I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of don't. It's just a love-hate relationship with me and a road course. But, Chris, before we let you get on out of here, is there anybody on that number 64 machine you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, thank you to Ryan McCauley for always painting these cars for me. He does a great job with them. Reach out to him if you'd like to get one painted by him as well. Huge thank you to CRN for coming on board for the entire season. Love repping you guys and giving you guys a shout out. And thank you for the broadcast, Dylan. Safe night, and we'll on to next week.
Yes, sir. That's all you can do. You finished P3 here tonight. Now you got road course next week. You're feeling confident. We're going to see that number 64 in the Championship 5.
Oh yeah, Championship 5. Let's do it. That's my goal, and then we can on to Kansas.
All right, buddy. Well, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out here, celebrate that third place victory here tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week.
Take care, Dylan.
Yep. All right, that's going to be our third place finisher of Chris Hamilton. Going to move up to our second place finisher. That's going to be Dave Tilford. David, this is Dylan in the broadcast booth. You got a copy.
Oh, I got you.
All right, David, you were up towards the front. You had some lap traffic in front of you that played a big difference there tonight. You were able to get ahead of John Obinger. You had a little bit of draft from the 14 and the 8 to get ahead of John, but not enough to kind of get down in front of him and keep him square behind you. It turned out to be a fuel mileage race, like Chris Hamilton said. What more did you need to get that race win here tonight?
Maybe just a little bit of last lap or two strategy, which I'm not really totally used to running up there. So I'm starting to get used to, mid-race strategy, settling in, saving some fuel, getting behind guys and lifting. But that last lap, not used to battling quite as much. So a little more experience there might have gotten me the win. But you know what? I was really happy with how it turned out. And I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, you did finish P number 2 here tonight. You led a lot of the laps. Now you're going to go switch it up from a oval track to a road course. It's going to be in the Miatas. How comfortable do you feel in the Miatas at Daytona road course?
Oh, that's going to be a good time. I feel pretty comfortable. I got to definitely put in some practice this week. I know the practice in the road courses is key, and I'm hoping that makes a difference this week.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something fun here to watch. And before we let you get on out of here, David, is there anybody on that number 12 machine you'd like to give a shout out to?
I just want to thank my family for letting me do this thing, and all the guys out there for the racing. And wouldn't be possible without the folks organizing this and all the guys coming out, and yourself in the broadcast booth for giving us that opportunity to show what we love to our family and friends and anyone else out there watching.
All right, David, we're going to go ahead and let you go back down there, celebrate your second place here tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again at Daytona Road Course next week.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, that's going to be our second place finisher of Dave Tilford. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the final winner here tonight. Finally got into the podium spot, finally got the race win. Couldn't come at a better place than Darlington. That's going to be Carl Handwerk. Carl, this Dylan in the booth, got a copy.
I got you, buddy.
It's about time we get to talk to you. Even though fuel strategy was the name of the race, you actually got to finish and not run out of fuel.
Yeah, I can't stand LeBron, but to quote LeBron, it's about damn time. I feel like I was saying to Chris and the guys after the race, I'm like, I've been on a dry spell. It's probably only been, maybe a couple months, but it feels like it's been like a couple years. It's been way too long. And so many have just kind of slipped through my fingers, whether it's, a fuel issue for me, whether it's issues from, getting involved in incidents or what, but it just seems like so many have slipped away. So to finally grab another win here in the season and lock myself into the championship definitely feels good and takes the weight off the shoulders a little bit.
Yeah, now you can pretty much breathe easy next week. Just kind of take your time, get through the field, get the feel for the Miata. I know not a lot of people drive the Miata as it is. I know in the CRN Cup, I believe you got to run the Miata, so you had a little bit of a feel for it there, but that's Kansas Road. We're going to Daytona Road Course. It's going to be a little bit different, but now you can kind of just relax, knock the dirt off the shoulders, get ready for the championship race coming up here in a couple weeks. But you talked about incidents, and there was one incident that I saw that you got through. I don't know how. I think you just had the grace of God by your side. Barry watching and rooting you on kind of helped you out there. He just kind of moved the 96 out of your way there just to get you by just by a little bit.
Yeah, I seen it happening in front of me, and Darlington in these cars is kind of a self-cleaning track. Everything slides down to the bottom, and it just kept sliding and sliding. And I kept moving left and left and left. I'm like, I got a car coming up here on my inside, and I got the wall. I got to shoot this gap, and that's the only chance I got. And yeah, luckily I got through just in time. But It was interesting, and I think that was the last one before we went on the long green flag run there. And I figured we were going to get one of those at some point. I figured we were going to get a nice long green flag run, and all props to the guys for finally doing that. I mean, after the first 3 cautions, it was kind of like, all right, we've been 15 laps into this race now. Can we just stretch this out a little bit? We got a long way to go, and sure enough, we end up going on the green flag run to end the whole thing. And yeah, it was. I didn't think it was going to play out to a fuel strategy kind of race, but getting to about maybe 20 laps to go, and I'm riding in the pack there that was led by the lap cars, which was kind of funny as well. Just kind of watching my fuel, and I figured I was saving so much fuel. I mean, I was running maybe half throttle for the last 20 laps of the race last 20 laps before I came in. I figured I had to have a lot more fuel than everybody else, and when I came in, I may have had one more lap to go, so everybody was just doing really good fuel saving, and I knew it was going to get pretty tight at the end there. So it was nerve-wracking, but it was fun.
Yeah, you talk about the pit strategy there, and I've noticed, I was talking to a couple of you guys in the Discord before we went live. Everybody was talking about getting into pit lane and how to execute it. And there's a couple guys, like Jimmy Cover, for instance, got in there a little bit too hot, and he said, if you want to spit out, this is how you do it in practice. And, that's just what the name of the game was, especially getting into pit lane. Chris Hamilton had that big slide going in, and then Caleb Collins following Chris Hamilton actually spun it completely around. Chris was able to save it while Caleb did not. You had a flawless pit road entry. Might have given up a few seconds here and there, but to save it on to pit lane and not, spin, shred the tires versus spinning and losing more time, I would go with the more safer than sorry strategy getting into pit lane.
Yeah, I tested that in practice. I'm not sure how many guys actually tried out in practice, but I know Darlington is just there's no better way to say it. It's a bitch to get into with most of the cars. And with these, it's kind of funny that it was just that loose coming in there, but I found that out in practice. And these things start out with, I think, about like 55% for the brake bias. And for those that don't know what brake bias is, basically it's the amount of, or percentage of brake that is on the front tires. So obviously the higher the percentage, the more you're using the front tires to brake, and the less you're using the rear. So obviously if it's a low percentage, you're going to be using the rears a lot and better chance of locking up. So I don't know how far you can crank these things up, but I cranked it all the way up to 60%, which is the highest I've ever ran any car, I think, on iRacing. And that could have been, potentially the difference that helped me out, is just using a lot of rear brake coming into the corner there. And I didn't, lock the steering to the left, but that was kind of the goal, just to turn as hard to the left as possible to kind of keep it almost, understeery, or, yeah. I think it's right. Can't think right now, but yeah, I mean, just basically keep it from the back end coming out, and still want to step out. So I was just gonna work my way down into. I got it down to 4th gear. I didn't want to try even getting that into 3rd. I figured, let me just get this thing down to 45, then I'll work my way down into to 3rd, 2nd, and 1st.
Yeah, it's definitely something cool to watch there. You had a lot of slam drafting going on, and talking to Chris, the 4X, if you slam draft somebody, I noticed you did a wheelie coming out of turn 4 after your little bit of slam draft there, but still able to get the win here tonight. Move on to the championship round, locked yourself in. Can't be more happier than that. And now it's pretty much just championship focus for you here for the Core Premier Series.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has run the MX-5s at Daytona for the Road before the 24, they have a little bit of experience there. But ultimately, it's a pretty easy road car to handle, and plenty of us in here have experience at Daytona on with the faster cars, with the LMP2s or the GT3s. So it should end up being a pretty good race, and you'll probably still see the guys that are heavy into road be towards the front of that race, but. With Dane winning last week, and not being a playoff driver winning last week, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little testy for these guys, because normally going into that 3rd race before the championship round, 2 playoff drivers are locked in, and there's 2 spots available on points to get in. But the way it's worked out now, I'm the only one that's officially locked in, and there's 3 points positions available for the remaining 7 guys.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something fun to watch here next week. I can't wait for it. I get to sit up at the booth, kind of laugh at everybody else for once on a road course. But nonetheless, it's still going to be a great race that you guys are going to put on there. But, Carl, before we let you get out of here, is there anybody on the number 18 machine you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, just a couple of shout-outs here. One, like I always do, I want to shout out the guys in here. Thank you to everybody that showed up tonight. And it was a little rough to start, and it kind of sucked for some people, especially in those first couple incidents, to kind of be marred in the back the rest of the race. But one of the nice green flag runs, so thanks to all the drivers for cleaning up after that and having a good run. And hopefully we get these turnouts for the rest of the season and get ready for season 10. Thank you to you up in the booth for locking it down here and watching us pace around for a while. And I even got to the point where I said we kind of need to do something up here to wake Dylan up. Hopefully we weren't falling asleep up there, as it was just kind of pack racing for a while. But thank you to everybody that's out there watching. Obviously, Barry and all the other fans of CRN. It's been a blast, both being in the car for the Premier Series here, but also being up in the booth and putting on these shows for everybody.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you're going to be back at the booth on Thursday night. As I'm going to trade in the booth skills for the track skills on Thursday for the Coke CRN 300. And I guess I got to start practicing the 87s again, because I don't know if I remember how to drive those things, because we took so long to get back in them. So that's going to be something fun to watch here on CRN on Thursday. So it's going to be a long, grueling race.
Yeah, and I tell you patience, but you don't listen. You don't listen. So that it doesn't matter if it's a 5-lap race or a 500-lap race. You ain't gonna listen. But hey, buddy, patience on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the broadcast in my ear. I'm gonna hear Jimmy and you, Dylan, if you're out there watching. Patience. That's all it's gonna be. So I'm excited to get back in the 87s. Excited to get back on the track with everybody, and definitely gonna be fun.
Yeah, I think you start losing your patience as you're pulling out of pit road for the grid lap. That's pretty much your extended patience. But we'll see how it works. I mean, it's going to be fun. Either way, it's going to be fun. It's awesome. Kind of a little throwback or not throwback, but throwback too with the 87s. But a shout out to Memorial Day. So we're planning on some festivities around that as well, and maybe even have a call to start the engines if we can get that locked down. But it'll be fun. Should be a decent sized field, and from the looks of it, some of the drivers that are posting their names in there, it's going to be a pretty stacked field.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun. So I can't wait for it. But, Carl, we're going to go ahead and let you get on out of here, celebrate that win here tonight, get up there, talk to everybody before we all hit the sack and go to bed and get ready for tomorrow's night in the GT Series. And hopefully we'll be talking to you again sometime next week.
Sounds like a plan, buddy. Thanks.
Yep. All right, that's going to do it for the interviews here tonight, as CRN has a long schedule ahead of them for the week ahead. Tomorrow, 9:15 p.m., you have the Core GT Series presented by Pointer at Fuji Speedway. Make sure you guys tune in on Monday night as Carl and Terry Jansen bring you the live action from Fuji here on CRN. Tuesday night, you're going to have myself down to the car as John Obinger and Ricky Gonzalez call the action starting at 9:15 with the Arcus cars at Auto Club, then switching over to Craftsman Trucks at 10:30 at Auto Club as well. Thursday night, like I said and mentioned earlier, you have the CRN Coke 300 from Legacy Charlotte on a Thursday at 8:15. That's going to be a great show. I can't wait to get back in the car on the 87s. Just can't wait to get back into a great environment with that. We're going to have a stacked field, a lot of prizes going out the door for every lap. Friday night, you're going to have Carl and Mark Thomas back at the broadcast booth on Friday with the Red Line Racing at 9:15 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And then Saturday, you're going to have myself back in the booth at 8:30 for the National Sim Racing Retro Cup Gen 4 Series at Texas Motor Speedway. make sure you guys check out, if you guys are a energy drink consumer, make sure you guys go to Dubby Energy, use code COREDUB, all capitalized, one word, COREDUB, for 10% off on your next purchase for anything Dubby related. That's going to do it for me up here at the broadcast booth for the Core Premier Series. My name is Dylan for CRN. Make sure you guys take care. Brush your hair.